Today on Ramblings I have come to Northumberland, north of Newcastle, between Jedburgh and a town called Wooler, which is quite appropriate because I'm going to be walking today with a shepherd, or a man who at least used to be a full-time shepherd, and since then has set up a walking business, I suppose making the most of his experience of the countryside, of animals, of living in as part of nature. He's called Jon Monks, and he's got a few friends I can see that are gathered with him. And I think I'm just in time for the briefing.
The walk we're going to today is Harbottle Crags, and I know a few of you have been on it before with myself. It's a lovely walk, and we're climbing up to the Drakestone up above us here, and we've got a nice wooded section, and then we drop back down, and we're following the River Coquet back down the valley, and we're kind of seeing some quite varied scenery along the route. All right, we've got Claire joining us today for the walk. So we just get on our way, and we've got a steep climb, so we'll just take it easy initially. Okay?
How long is the walk?
It's 6 miles in length that we're doing today, yes.
And we end up back here in the car park?
Yeah, it's a circular walk, so yes.
Great. We've got a couple of dogs with us as well.
Yeah, they're all on the lead, so we're all right.
In fact, if you want to follow us on the map at home, we're on Ordnance Survey OL 16, which is the Cheviot Hills, Jedburgh and Wooler, and the grid reference for the car park that we start from is NT 926049. And what's this car park called?
It's called the Westwood Car Park. As you come up through Harbottle village, pass through the village, you'll see the castle up on your right hand side, Harbottle Castle, and then just on your left hand side you see the entrance to the car park.
And we're heading steeply uphill up a pathway to start with. Between a very light wooded area, we've got a stone wall, a dry stone wall on our left. So you're getting us out of breath straight away?
That's right, yeah, we're climbing up and we go into some land owned by Northumberland Wildlife Trust. Whew. Okay, continue onwards and upwards.
Now, how many people do you normally take with you?
Well, we can take a maximum of 20, but I prefer to take a smaller group. If I can kind of take a group around 15 or 16.
Telltale signs here of sheep life.
That's right, all the wool lying.
Bits of wool lying around just on the heather. We came out very quickly from the car park and through a gate in the line of the dry stone wall, which is now on our right. We've turned hard right with heather stretching for, maybe only 4 metres on the right, but to the left, well, for about 4 miles. We can see the lowland area of the fields down around that farm, and it looks incredibly fertile down there.
Well, yeah, I think it's amazing to see how man has affected the landscape, and I often talk about this on the walks, is that, I don't know if people realise, before the Romans came to this country, we used to farm the upland areas because we didn't know how to drain our lowland areas. And it's only since the Romans came and they showed us how to put field drains in, we actually learned how to get the moisture out of the lower lying land.
On a day like this, I think this is one of the most beautiful areas in the world. But in the dead of winter, when the wind is blowing and you were out there, in the thick of it with the sheep, is it a frightening place to be?
People say that, but I think it tests your skills to their ultimate limits, really. And I quite like setting off when the snow's lying deep and you're going off to the hill to find your sheep, because you're testing your skills the best you can. Because especially in these upland areas, quite often the sheep are just best left alone. Because I don't know if you realise, hill sheep can live 2 or 3 days, like through semi-starvation. So therefore, it's your assessment whether is the snow going to melt. Is it best just to leave them? Because the problem is, if you start moving sheep when they've got deep snow, is they'll pile on top of each other and they can actually suffocate. So you can make the matter far worse than you can just leaving them well alone.
They deal very well with the extremes. I mean, did you come to this area of the country because you wanted a more extreme lifestyle?
Well, not really. My shepherding career actually started, my farming career started in the northwest of England, which is where I was brought up. And I started working on arable farms, and I kind of thought this is not really how I expected farming to be. So I actually went to agricultural college for 3 years, studied agriculture. When I first said to my parents I wanted to be a farmer, they kind of looked at me blankly and took me into the careers office in St Helens, which was my hometown. And even there they kind of looked at me with this blank look and didn't know really which direction to send me in.
I thought we might just take the opportunity to strip off, and I can see everyone behind us as well. Get ourselves warmed up. Oh, wow, look at that view. I mean, it's just such a... With this sort of slightly hazy sun, it gives it it almost like there's a film effect on it.
That's right,
on
yes.
the scenery. And you can see the different shades of the trees and the very dark patch of evergreens and just the young leaves on the deciduous trees, but it's just got that slightly sepia quality, hasn't it?
And it's quite unique. If we went a little bit, about another 3 miles up the valley, the landscape would completely change. We lose this heather-clad landscape that we're used to here at Harbottle and further down at Simonside above Rothbury there. And as you go further up into the true cheviots, you get this very whitey, like strawy type of grass, which the cheviot is so famous for.
Hello, we're Paul and Carol Hood, and we've been coming on Jon's walks for now probably about 3 years.
Yes, I think, that's right.
We live down in Blythe on the coast, so it's very nice to get into the country and get into the hills. And Molly is a proper shepherd's walk dog.
Hey, Molly,
Yes.
she's wagging her tail.
She comes on as many walks as possible. Thoroughly enjoys
She
them.
enjoys it.
I've known Jon for about a year now and been on quite a lot of his walks. Very convenient living so near the lovely countryside. So I thoroughly enjoy these outings and you meet so many different people. It's very, very nice.
And do you find that Jon tells you things about your own back doorstep that you didn't know?
And about sheep especially. I hear about sheep. I collect sheep and things in the house.
What, real
it's
ones?
No. But it's very interesting. It is. You find a lot from other walkers as well. You know, we keep each other informed of historical things. Yeah.
So there's an intellectual side to it, a physical side and a social side
And
as
a
well.
very humorous side, yes. We tell each other all sorts
We
of funny
do,
things,
yes.
don't we? Yeah, we do.
And we'll meet the others when we get further along. I don't want to delay you too much because you probably normally keep a good strong stride on, I should think.
It's amazing because we do a number of the walks again and again with different groups, and it's amazing how the speed varies, and quite often the slowest walks are the best walks. You get the best interaction from the people you're walking with, they're asking the most questions, and you kind of get a good feedback from them. So it's sometimes the quicker walks you kind of march around, and I think those are the ones that don't stick in your memory as much as the slow ones. We've got a really good group because it's the group that makes the walk really.
You were talking about your childhood and going off to agriculture college, and also how surprised everyone in St Helens was that you wanted to be a farmer. Had you seen or met somebody who had made you think, well, that's the life I want?
Well, my father was a professional musician, and somebody he worked with in the orchestra, actually, was a French horn player as well. He was married to a daughter of a farmer. So in our school holidays we went down to Devon and went and helped out on the farm and on the potato harvester and sat in the back of the Land Rover. And as a child I thought, this is a life for me. It was absolutely wonderful being away from St Helens and working on a farm. So that stuck in my mind. And it took me a few years working on farms and working on an arable farm near home, and working on a dairy farm and working with sheep, that I suddenly decided this is what I want to do. I want to work. When I found the sheep and the countryside and the hilltops, I kind of thought this is how I imagined farming to be.
So it actually, in terms of the livestock side of it, it lived up to your quite romantic,
Yes.
ideal picture in your head.
Yes, and when I came back from Australia, I went down to Newbury for a little while and worked on an estate down there. And then I came up to Northumberland, and as soon as I came into Northumberland, I saw the stone walls again, I saw the hills, and I said to my girlfriend, who's now my wife, I said, this is where I want to be. It was absolutely wonderful. It was like coming home again, back to the hills where I'd originally shepherded.
And people do have that amazingly strong connection with landscape, don't they?
It is.
That whole thing of being home, because where you worked near Newbury is near my home.
Yes, that's right.
And I would go there and feel very connected with
Yes.
it, but this is you.
Well, that's right, because down Newbury we had electric fences, we like farming.
Make it sound a bit better than that.
But it's well, it wasn't how I had been brought up as a shepherd.
No, it wasn't. It's not like this.
It
You
wasn't
know,
like this.
We're standing here and we can, in all directions, we can barely see. I mean, we can't really see any traffic on major roads. We can see a few houses.
So we've climbed up here to the top of Harbottle Crags. We've got a fantastic drake stone up to our right-hand side. It was being deposited here at the end of the Ice Age, and you can actually see how the ice has chiselled away on the drake stone as it will have been left here, and then the ice will have continued to rush past it. The true Cheviot Hills away to our left, and it's a completely different pasture than what
Jon's in full flow, describing to the walkers everything that's around them, and actually it's a really useful thing because he knows the landscape so well. He will always point out something that they wouldn't necessarily see for themselves. I know that everybody's asking questions now, and there's a very friendly feeling in the group, but also they're walking to explore, not to discover hidden places, but to discover things they didn't know.